before we go into kind of your galactic heritage and Earth heritage, etc., I looked into your soul's essence, and I was just going to quickly go over that because it's pretty. It really is information that has to do with your essence that you carry with you from each incarnation, whether it's non-physical or physical incarnation. It's the same frequency. It's your essence, right? As an individual soul. And you have a beautiful turquoise vibration and color as your soul's essence. And it's like this beautiful, I don't know if you resonate with turquoise.
Yeah,
but
sometimes I say that's my favorite color. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that mix of two rays, the blue ray and the green ray vibration. And it can also be the blue and yellow. But I feel it's more blue-green for you, for sure. And the turquoise soul essence is related to speaking or bringing out truth through mass communication.
Oh, wow.
And turquoise soul is very curious and is like really a truth seeker. And it's often also a soul that is very drawn to communities, like this wide community to communicate with. And turquoise is associated with a higher heart chakra. It sits up above the heart.
Okay.
And it really is called the spiritual heart chakra because it's linked also to the throat. So it is that link between the higher heart and the throat. Sometimes it's called the etheric heart chakra, and it really is about speaking from the heart. So your essence, your vibration at your true, like it never goes away, is of that kind.
In every life, it'll always be like that. Is that what you mean?
In every life, it will always be like that. Yeah. And you have also a second layer to the S. Often we come with multiple colors and an outer ring of our soul essence. And you have a beautiful purple in your outer ring of your frequency. And which is the violet ray, and it's the higher order and the spirituality. You know, purple is often associated with the crown chakra, you know, the
right.
And you have a purple ray, and I'm not, but knowing what I know now, I'm not surprised at all. You carry a purple as well, because purple ray is really here. You are here. You have this ability to teach us how to transcend this physical world and align with our higher self. You know, it really is that heavy focus and heritage coming from a naturally spiritual connection. And the purple ray also is very linked to the ascended masters, and as a collective consciousness. The purple ray, of course, is a very natural healer and a creative in many ways, and has the ability to heal with those healing abilities, DNA trauma, basically conditioning. So I'm not surprised, you know, the little I know about your work, it is really transformational. I'm not surprised because you have that natural essence to you. And I would also say with the purple ray, it often comes with incarnations, including here on Earth, in very dense families with a lot of trauma and even abuse. And the reason is that you carry such a high vibration as a purple, turquoise blue, turquoise purple soul that it's often a choice to step in as a soul that can kind of help transform a lineage. And part of what you asked me to look into is also your frequency associated with your soul's essence. And here's how I do that. I work with the way David R. Hawkins have described consciousness. I don't know if you're familiar with this kind of, yeah. So And I looked at kind of where your potential is in terms of associated with a certain frequency as a soul, if you will. And you are up here in around 600, 540 oneness, 600 presence. You know, it's not it's not a competition, right?
Right.
In terms of how high we can go. It is a frequency that our soul has chosen to operate at, and we know already that's the optimal for that individual soul. But we can also notice that if we look in the collective, most people at this time, or I would say, we don't know their potential, but we know at what frequency they operate, which is majority are below 200.
Oh, okay.
And this chart is associating with kind of the frequency of different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you place yourself, around 540, 600, it is, up there in terms of the I am presence, relating to your galactic self, for example. That's no coincidence that you're curious about this information, because you are that potential that can, relate to your multidimensional self. So yeah, I love this image because it kind of gives us a little bit of everything, if you will, in terms of, and often around 200 there, like the major collective is 200 and below, are never asking themselves the questions like, who am I? And,
right.
The self-empowerment is 200 and above there. That's when people are starting to ask themselves, like, who am I really? And we're going to get into the galactic stuff now, but first, I want to talk about your soul origin. And where our soul originates is different for everyone, different dimensions. It basically, what I'm referring to is kind of this, all of us are backing up to the all, right? If we're really going to back up, it's like there's no separation. But what we're talking about here is when your soul decided to start experiencing itself as an individual soul. All of us are coming from a group consciousness, and behind that group consciousness, and the group consciousness can be of different kind. And I'm going to tell you your kind, but behind that is like the all, right? But what we're talking about here is your soul origin kind, and you come from the angelic realm.
Okay.
Your soul originated in the angelic realm, and that is so. What that means is that the angelic souls, and I don't know if you have resonated with angels or the angelic realm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I
great.
have friends call me their angel friend. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I'm very connected with my angel. Like I just did my,
angel cards,
my cards, and yeah.
When I worked with your soul origin, 3 angel guides came through. So, and I have 3 messages. Do you want to hear them?
Yes, please.
So, do you have a specific relationship with birds?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
You do?
Yes. Are you serious?
Oh, I'm blown away now.
Oh my gosh.
So birds, there's an archangel. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but it's hard to actually. It's not one of the lesser known archangels, but Bokpi. It's the name of this archangel. It doesn't matter what the name is. This archangel, is related to birds. And a message came through here that it's time for you to fly now and listen to your intuition.
Oh, wow.
For the future. And this is related to your Uranus alignment in the 12th house, also linked to the Galactic Center. This archangel is working with you to connect even more with that black hole, Galactic Center, which is an immense area of universal wisdom. So this conversation today is opening up that link. Your connection to birds is not coincidental. If you receive messages through birds, it's likely with support from this archangel. And
wow.
So what's your experience?
Well, first of all, I have this funny thing about birds that's always about birds, and but I also, it's always birds. If I would say something in a lifetime is about birds, like something in past lives, I've had to have something with birds. But when the owls are, I connect my dad to, he passed away, to owls when I hear them when I'm walking. The hummingbirds are very much important to me. I'm really, I'm connected to them when I'm walking with, every morning there's a message. That's so, so when you said birds, for sure.
Wow. So this is your very top level galactic chart. I don't know if you've been into Julia Balas's calculator and gotten your free chart there, but no. I have access to some multiple layers more. So this is kind of a full gamut. This is the very highest level of your galactic chart, which is showing you where conjunctions, like when there's a direct alignment to one of the planets in your birth chart, or if there's an opposition. Only those two are singled out here. And I'll show you there's much more detail in the next version that I'm showing you. But just for you to see how we're reading this, in the column of aspect there, you can see the sun, moon, ascendant, north node, south node. You can see that, right? And yes. And what sign it is. And that's your birth chart, right? Very simply. You have your sun in Sagittarius, you have your moon in Libra, your ascendant is in Libra, and so on. And here on the constellation connections is kind of where those alignments of conjunction oppositions are. And when we read a galactic chart, we often associate the outer planets. And if we look down to row 14, there, Pluto, 13, Neptune, 12, Uranus, those three rows are associated with your most ancient soul history and galactic heritage. So that's where I start to kind of say, okay, if we go furthest out in your galactic heritage, what connections do you have? It's even more telling, I feel, is the next slide. And you'll receive copies of all of this, so don't worry. Here is what I have put together for you, because this is really what I see. It's beautiful.
Oh, good.
You recognize your birth chart, right? You see your sun there and Sagittarius by the arrow. The sun is that circle with the dot in between at the bottom of the chart at 22 degrees. You see that?
Okay. Yes, I see that.
And around, and so let's talk a little bit about that, because the way I see your purpose here associated with your self-expression and sun, the sun is kind of how we manifest our personality or soul into this life. Next to it, you see another 22, which is the asteroid Psyche. Psyche is specific. I look for that when I look for your kind of spiritual psychic abilities, and your asteroid is right on top of your sun, which means that part of your purpose here, part of your talents, is to expand your psychic, spiritual connection. And it's right there in the chart. Wow. In the third house, which is the house of communication. The astrology chart is, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that wheel has to do with different areas of life. And the third house, where your sun is about communication, learning and communication and all of that. So that's the first thing I see. And your sun is connected to the Galactic Center. Now we're going to galactic here.
Oh, wow.
So which means, and the way I translate that is, first of all, you are here on a mission for this solar system, Earth. Milky Way. Galactic Center is what drives our local kind of solar system. So that tells me that not only you are on a collective mission, but you are on a mission for the Milky Way galaxy. And with that alignment of your sun and the asteroid Psyche to Galactic Center, we're looking here at the very bottom of your chart, means that you have access to immense wisdom from this black hole.
Oh, wow.
And you're meant to express that. Like there's, it just validates and corroborates your mission here, being a someone who is going to be a communicator to many people. You have the ability to shift energy and impact people deeply. And you're meant to do that because this type of alignment, you cannot, like, you can't miss it. You won't miss it. Like your life will bring you there.
Okay.
Now, next to your sun, we stay at the bottom there, is Ceres. You see that little kind of, it looks like, I don't know what it's called, 2135. It's next to it, almost there. And the asteroid Karma.
Yes.
That's another validation that this life for you is a reward life. Ceres, who's that, well, I don't know what's called, 21, is about fertility, like fertility in many ways, right? But fertility is associated with expansion and growth and, rewards. And this lifetime, seeing the asteroid Karma there on top of, right, by Ceres, is that this is a life where you are going to receive rewards, karma rewards. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, that's just to translate some of the things that I see. You were asking earlier, I'm going to stay with this chart a little bit because this is basically telling a lot about your galactic heritage, and I want to walk you through it. Now, we asked the question, where did you were curious about where are you going after this life?
Yes.
And we're going to take a look. If you follow the green arrow up from the sun to Hydra-Alphard at 27 degrees of Leo, you see that Leo there. You are Hydra as a constellation for you, and your soul heritage, if you will, your galactic heritage is very, very important. Hydra is associated with energy of deep divine feminine power. And you are going to return to Hydra-Alphard after this life, and you also have a life heritage with Hydra-Alphard in the past, because you also your soul spent time in this constellation before you incarnated on Earth for the first time. And we'll talk about those, like I have more information about that, but that just tells me that Hydra-Alphard is, and Hydra is like that serpent, right? It's associated with life force energy, Kundalini energy, Shakti, whatever we are associating with that inner passion. That is you. You have spent incarnations in this constellation and working with the energy of that divine, deep divine feminine. But what I've done here in this chart, I've highlighted the constellations that are of most importance for you to connect with now through this reading. And that's Hydra-Alphard. It's Alpha Centauri, where your Neptune, you see there's the Neptune there, Alpha Centauri 29 Scorpio. And it's those two constellations have come out as the most important for you to connect with now. And this bowl shape, if you will, is also directing us to your contribution at Orion. You see at the top of the chart here at 29 Gemini. And also I'm going to move the, see if I can move this little window here. I probably have to, I'm just going to move that down so that you can see Perseus-Algol. You have not incarnated in Perseus constellation, but you have been visiting there. You have incarnated in Orion constellation in the past. And the Orion constellation, as I mentioned earlier, was undergoing, you incarnated there as a soul at the end of the Orion Wars. You were not a warrior by any means. There, you have not held any kind of, warrior positions. You have been kind of the elder. See, I took some notes when I worked with the energy here in Orion. I'm just kind of walking you through these connections, and then we can talk about kind of what it all means. The Orion incarnations were at the end of the Orion era. You were the wise teacher, because this is in your 9th house, which is the kind of the teacher archetype, if you will. You worked with a particular kind of grandmother sage energy there. That's how you were seen. You were devoted to service. And the reason I'm mentioning the Orion constellation is that you will see it sprinkled out in your chart, in your big chart with all the details. And it has a square, which is kind of the growth opportunity, if you will. Squares are often where we have experienced polarity or challenge. You have 2 squares to Orion in your chart. It is to Pluto in Virgo there, and it is to your Chiron in Pisces. And that means that your Orion incarnations were taking kind of energy out of you. You made a vast contribution as a sage, trying to keep balance in this polarity of wars, and working as kind of a sage, or a grandmother came through, that type of old wise energy. And you worked also with sound. And here's where that talent comes in. You have worked in many lifetimes with sound healing, or anything with sound that came through from a holographic perspective. Holographic healing is healing of all of our bodies, not just the physical body. It's actually healing the unseen body as well.
No, I
so
never
you
heard
have
that.
already, so just to bring it in, if you want to make a note, if you feel drawn to sound healing of any kind from now on, it's something that you have done and being a master in for a long time in your soul's history. Yeah, and since the Orion constellation is opposite your sun here,
right,
means that you're meant to connect with, you may not have been connected to this experience in Orion until later in life, but you're also meant to kind of balance that and bring likely sound healing in. Kind of every opposition in a chart is kind of an opportunity to balance. So I would not be surprised if you get into some sort of working with sound in some form, or and your soul already knows what it is here. We're connecting to it today, and you don't have to figure it out. It will come to you.
Okay.
There's nothing you need to figure out, because once you connect with it at the exact right time, you'll know what to do with it.
Oh, cool. Love that.
But basically, you have and we're talking about Orion still, you are receiving rewards in this life from the contribution that you did during lifetimes in Orion.
Hmm.
So it's a balancing again, because it did take a lot of energy from you at that time. So you're meant to receive energy, positive energy, to balance kind of, if you feel some sort of heaviness in any part of your life, or if you feel restricted in any part of your life, it's likely from having been exhausted in past life from a vast contribution of work that you have done as a teacher. So, and the reason I'm saying that is that because it's in the 9th house, and that's where often, sages and old grandmother wisdom, if you will, is sitting.
Okay. Huh.
And now you're bringing that down to the 3rd house of communication in this life, where your sun is. We're going to continue here because there's a little bit more. This bowl configuration in your chart is so powerful, and that's also showing me how powerful of a soul you are, and I haven't seen it in anybody else's chart in this way. You can see 2 arrows pointing to your Chiron there in Pisces at 28 degrees. Chiron is the alignment in our charts that where we turn kind of our wound into our strength.
Okay.
And next to it, you see there's another asteroid at 28 degrees Hygeia. And that just tells me that you're meant to purify your wounds in this lifetime. Hygeia is kind of that purification.
Okay. Purify my wounds, meaning clear them from my.
Yeah, and I see it as purification can also be to receive those rewards, right? You're balancing karma, but also coming out of this life with a clean slate, pretty much.
Okay. Huh.
So that's a good confirmation that when I see Hygeia next to Chiron there is definitely your life, this life will address that wound, and whether it's purifying it, so to say, by receiving rewards and balance it. I think that's what's happening here. But it's a good thing. It's a clean slate. So,
I love it.
Yeah, me too. I was happy to see Hygeia right there. So I talked about your incarnations in Hydra. I want to just also mention in parallel. So here's the thing. In our bigger self, in the universe, there's no linear time, right?
Right.
But in this reading, I have to put it kind of first this happened and then happened and then happened. In universe, it's like it's all at the same time.
Right.
So I want to also point you to Alpha Centauri. They're at 29 Scorpio. You have incarnated there. So as a soul. And to me, I couldn't really, when I worked with this energy, I couldn't separate it from your incarnation in Hydra. So likely your soul may have been incarnated in both places at the same time.
Okay.
It's totally, it's just our logic that can't kind of, okay,
right.
What did I do before the other? And it's like, but since I couldn't separate them energetically, so you likely have been in both places as a soul, which is not uncommon at all.
Why would you do that? Why would I choose to why would you choose your soul to go 2 places?
Good question. Very good question. I think that seeing what I see here, there's a strong link between your ability to transmute energy, which is basically your Alpha Centauri Neptune, that's your spiritual self, and Hydra. I believe that your home base likely was Alpha Centauri. So if I were to say, and that's only because Neptune is there. So if you were to say, am I a star seed from somewhere? Yes. You would likely say, I am a Centaurus Alpha Centauri star seed.
Okay.
However, you have, you know, this immense soul. So you have had links, incarnations, fractions of your soul, maybe in parallel places. But to answer your question, I received some messages here, and maybe it reveals itself as we go through it here. It also has to do with your work with that council, if we call it a council, Intergalactic Super Federation. And there were some messages here, so maybe this is all coming together now. You have been summoned by the Intergalactic Super Federation to help with the conflict and struggle on Earth. And you are part of helping, calling all parts home, basically. And here it is. It's these fractions of energy that you're part of calling home to Earth by being here, you being here now. You are a pioneer in your work related to the mind, the air element, and you will help turn around the secrecy around intuition and psychic abilities, or telepathy even. And, you know, this is quantum information, so it might not resonate with you at all. But, you know, at a higher level, this is, you know, what you take from this connection to Hydra and Alpha Centauri is your ability to create with your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is connected to Hydra, that life force energy.
Okay.
And you are here to come into that solar plexus Hydra energy in its fullness, in forgiveness and gratitude here on Earth. So yeah, you'll receive momentum as you connect with your talents from Hydra and Alpha Centauri. It will help ease the survival fears that will come up on Earth, because you are working also with a future collective. I can see that in your North Node. So all of this, I sense that you as a soul have lent fractals of yourself in your galactic past to support or learn, but your home base have been Alpha Centauri, as you know, places where you come, or Hydra-Alphard, because Hydra has also been a key location in the cosmos for you, you know, before, as I told you earlier, before you incarnated on Earth for the first time, you were located in Hydra. And, you know, this may be, it's hard to kind of make sense of all of this. Like, we want to be in one place, but I have come across clients who have parallel lives, even here on Earth. Like you have a part of your soul in other places at this time. And it might be that you, as part of your bigger soul, so to say, still have links to particularly Hydra-Alphard. Now, another reason for being in multiple, associated with multiple constellations at the same time, is that you are also working with what we call the Actress energy. Actress is a fixed star, but it's actually a group consciousness that is heavily influencing Earth right now. And
How do you
also
spell that? Actress?
Yeah, let me see if I can move this. Maybe I wrote it here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Up here, right by your ascendant at 24 of Libra, right? Actually, around 20, you know, 21, 24, it's conjunct, it's together. The reason for that is your ascendant is your self-expression, right? You are working with the actress group consciousness as well. When it's this close to your ascendant, that's part of what you're bringing here on Earth as well. So your Mars is there, your ascendant is there. Yeah. If I really draw a line and bottom line on what we see here, is that you are extremely advanced soul with access to multiple black holes or energy masses of universal wisdom that you are here to download and ground to Earth right now through the actress energy at your ascendant, working with this intergalactic federation that is actually helping to guide the future direction of it all. But you're one node of that. And part of the reason your soul was created is actually for some of the missions that you're doing now, but also in your galactic history, you've had similar roles, right? When there's a big shift coming in somewhere, you're there helping to guide, right? Being the grandmother, the wise.
Okay.
And because I asked also, how can she utilize this insight, like what we see from here and what you're hearing? This insight can help with ease any lack of direction or anxiety to help and to help you getting inspired to connect with your intuitive abilities and your heart even more. So I think, you know, this is to inspire you. This is to kind of help any doubt or
for sure.
you know, am I on the right direction or am I doing the right thing? Like it's your advice to kind of bring this bigger perspective and say, okay, this gives me relief. This gives me
so good. Yes.
So that's what I was, you know, encouraged to share with you, because part of your galactic heritage here is so vast. And I come back, see, I keep saying that you have seem to have a bigger, you know, you're almost like your soul is almost like it can be in multiple places at the same time, universally. And I have not seen this type of kind of spread before, where I can't separate the energy. Like some clients have had very specific, like, oh, you spent tons of time here and then you did this and then you did this. But here it's like this, it's almost like you're part of this group consciousness, even as a individual soul, because you've been a lot of places at the same time.
You know, when you say why I'm listening to this now, and to ease any lack of direction and to be inspired to connect to my intuition, it's like the last few days. I mean, it's funny. It's how everything is exactly in divine timing.
Yes, it is.
And why we met and why, like, I don't feel we have to do this reading. Like, you know, I need to do this before, it all's coming together.
Yeah, I felt it too. I truly am in awe of the power that I connected with working with your energy. And I think part of this reading today is to open you up to that power so that you can, you know, trusting, connecting with whatever inspires you, whatever you feel from deep inside yourself, that Kundalini, Shakti energy. It's like you have worked with that before. You know, if you allow it to come through and lead you, that like you're unstoppable. And it has to do with bringing that self-love in and work from the heart, right? And allowing yourself to really trust that and see yourself in that light, right? That bigger self.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a big mission for you, because I saw, you know, always collective, like it's very important for you to speak to groups, right? And that collective karma that you have, there is a mission for you to kind of make a bigger impact to many people. I definitely can see that. And yeah. Any other reflections? As I know this is a lot to soak in, you will receive a copy, but as you can see, here's your full galactic chart.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
8 pages long.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
of course, there's more to uncover within here. But this is what came through as the most important based on your priorities,
Right.
and my
Amazing.
intention.
Wow. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you. I've just loved doing this work. I know.
Well, you can tell too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it definitely comes through that way for sure.